Hello, friends. It's me again. It's time for another story. One from a Neckbeard story subreddit. One of them. That's actually, I started saying that as a joke, but that's actually true. There are two of them. So, I'm doing good. Anyway, I had to get on this one just because the name. I've been looking up weird older ones, just because sometimes you need a classic. This is called Willie the Wolf. Oh dear. So the setting for this is a house party in central Georgia. In the way back when Smash Brothers walked the earth. Your standard bunch of 20-somethings drinking cheap booze and hope something interesting happens type affair. The host, more on him later, was a notorious cheapskate who refused to run the AC. So between the number of bodies and Georgia, it was pretty stuffy in there. Furthermore, I was designated driver that night, which put a hamper on the old celebration, as I didn't know most of the guests and could have used some social lubrication. But lo and behold, someone wanted to be my friend. It was Willie the Wolf, names changed to protect the ridiculous. Named so because he thought he was a goddamn werewolf. To be fair, he certainly looked the part. He is the single hairiest man I've ever met. He could tuck his chin down, and the chest hair poking out of the top of his shirt could probably conceal his identity. Lord. Willie is completely off his ass when I meet him, which is probably why he felt so comfortable letting me in so quickly on his secret werewolf heritage. You see, he didn't get bitten like some kind of pleb werewolf. No, he comes from a long line of noble wolf people. There's some jazz about a family curse or something. I'm not completely listening because I'm trying to determine if he's fucking with me or not. The final verdict, he's either dead serious or he should win some sort of drunk dude Oscars. At some point, in regaling me with his explanations of his various, increasingly odd werewolf powers, the vibe goes from entertainingly weird to uncomfortably weird. About the time he got to the angel that protects him from car accidents, I decided it was time to exit stage left and make my rounds elsewhere. But I can't shake him. Wherever I go, he's on me, like our dicks were tied together or something. He's not gay, pretty sure, but somehow he'd gotten into his chemically impaired brain that I am someone he needed to impress, and the best way to go about it is with his crazy werewolf shit. Eventually, we end up outside on the deck, and fortunately for all our sakes, it was not a full moon out. At this point, Willie has started to draw a crowd, because everyone likes a free show. Now with the attention on him, perhaps his goal all along, he can pull his trump card. Thanks to his inner wolf, he was a quick study in druidic magic. To demonstrate this, he would summon the neighbor's cat. The cat was already in the backyard, judging. It was just a matter of Willie channeling his animal magnetism to bring it up to us. I probably could have escaped at this point, while he was distracted, but it was nicer outside than in, and I guess I wanted to see if he could summon a fucking cat. Willie drops down into this weird crouch, starts making arcane hand gestures and speaking nonsense words. Unfortunately, his spell failed, and the cat fucked off. Undeterred, he popped back up with a new focus, to prove his martial prowess. Now excluding the excess 15 or so pounds of body hair, Willie was the pinnacle of average height and weight, and didn't strike anyone as a living weapon. But he's got a trick up his sleeve. He's one of those guys that claims to be able to think ahead of time, a way to take out anybody and everybody. His attention turned back to me. Like a big guy like him, I'd take out his legs, he says, all serious all of a sudden. I then demonstrate with all my flashing wit that I'm known for by saying something like, cool. Next thing I know, he's lunging in some half-assed tackle that turns into a kind of weird hug when I don't fall down. I'm just standing there, confused as fuck, grappled by a werewolf. A moment that just kinda sums up the whole evening for me, really. But wait, you say. We're promised strangulation. Well, as it turns out, that's what saved me. Someone else's misery. Truth be told, this had nothing to do with our furry friend. I'm just including it because I got to be a hero. Kind of. Remember that host from before? Well, he had a roommate who I found out later was lying to the host's crush to sabotage his chances out of sheer meanness. And it turns out that tonight was when the host found out. And with a heart full of rage and a belly full of Mr. Boston, he decided it was time for a reckoning. Host a tiny guy, but ex-military, wiry as hell. Before anyone knows what's going on, he's jumped on the roommate's back and has him in a chokehold. Everyone stands around and watches for a bit because the roommate's kind of an asshole and had this coming, stumbling around with a guy half his size on his back choking him out. But then dude's face starts turning purple and he's awful near the railing of that deck, and I can just see the pair of them tumbling over to the yard below, so I intervene. I'm not Action Jackson or anything, but I'm able to peel the host off of this would-be victim before the violence went from comical to police. In my experience, house parties typically end right after someone gets choked, so it was time to bid Willie and the rest adieu. Maybe I'm too harsh on Willie. He was drunk as a skunk at the time, and he seems to have settled down since then. But he weirded the hell out of me that night, and I've seen his ass wear a fedora, so fuck him. That was a fantastic story. Like, oh my god, that wonderful wordplay. Oh, I had a feeling with a title like that, this was either going to go Otherkin or Furry, and I'm happy either way. But Otherkin is a special kind of special, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really happy that it. We got to witness a drunk Otherkin, kids. A werewolf lineage. A werewolf lineage! Oh my god! Where the fuck do they come up with this shit? Like, where does this come from? I have seen so many strange Otherkin posts and stories that they tell about themselves and all this other shit, but the big question I have is, where the fuck does this come from? Where does this mindset sounds like a horrible sci-fi film that I'll be making for a budget of like $500. Where does this mindset come from where they lapse into this incredible I have to be the specialist special mode? I get it if you're young, because there's a lot of them that I've noticed. A lot of Otherkin are like teenagers. But when you're pushing 30 and you're still doing this, it's a little weird, my dude. It's a little weird. You're not actually a fairy, or a dragon, or a fucking rain cloud. Yeah, that's one of them. I've seen that too. It's time to stop. You know? In the words of old Papa Franco himself, it is time to stop. But holy shit, what a fucking story. I can't believe he was gonna strangle that dude. That was a hard left turn that turned into something interesting too. Just, I can imagine it, which is the funniest bit. I can imagine just like hanging off this man's back like a fucking spider monkey. Oh man, fuck. House parties are a hell of a drug too, kids. If you've never been to one, they're magical most times. A lot of times they cannot be, but sometimes shit just happens, and there is no explaining it. It's just happening, I guess. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this story. It was a little weird one. It was a weird departure from some of the stuff I normally go on about, but as soon as I saw the title, I was just like, you know, gotta make this happen. So if you did enjoy this, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support me so I can keep doing crazy shit like this and more, I have a Ko-Fi, and I have a merch shop. There's a lot of weird shit in my merch shop, I'm just saying. There's, like, bath mats now. I don't know why. Do you want a Moonhorse bath mat? If not, why not? I'd buy one. Simply for the fact that that's the weirdest thing I've ever been able to buy from someone. A personalized bath mat. I mean, sure. Anywho, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.